Welcome sa ating Small Coffee Business Training brought to you by Barista 24 Cafe. I'll be your facilitator for today, Aurora Kasim po, part ng team ng Barista 24. Okay, so today po ang ating discussion, ang i-cover natin, by the way, may dalawang part po ito. For the first part, lecture muna po tayo, and then second part is about the workshop or hands-on ng paggawa ng coffee. So, ano ba yung mga i-cover natin for the lecture part? We'll be discussing about the history of coffee, the different types of coffee, coffee roasting, grinds, coffee storage, espresso and espresso-based drinks, the benefits of drinking brewed coffee, and then how to start a small coffee business. So, ang cover naman po natin sa coffee business is the different types of coffee businesses na pwedeng simulan. Okay? And then, coffee costing guide. So, ituturo po sa atin kung paano ba tayo magpepresyo sa ating coffee products. And then, how to start a small coffee business. This is more on tips na pwede nyo pong sundan para magsimula ng isang small coffee business. Okay? And then, for the workshop part naman, magkakaroon po tayo or ipapakita po namin sa inyo recorded video tutorials on how to make hot coffee, iced coffee, frappe, and cold brew. Okay? So, sige po, simulan na po natin. Okay, so ayan, napanood po natin yung ating kilalang-kilalang alamat ng kape. So dun po sa video, nakita po natin si Caldi at ang kanyang mga kambing. So ang kwento pong ito ay nagsimula sa bansang Ethiopia, 9th century po. So ano ba yung kwento po dito? So si Caldi po na isang goat herder, isang araw pinastol po niya ang kanyang mga kambing at kailangan niya ng tawagin nung hapon na po. So hinipan niya yung kanyang flute na supposedly kapag hinipan po niya yon, dadating na yung mga kambing niya or magagather sila lahat sa harapan niya. Pero ang nangyari po, walang dumating kahit isa. Kaya naman, hinanap po niya ang kanyang mga kambing at ayun na nga. Nakita niya na may kinakain silang red berries at iba yung kanilang behavior. So, hindi sila sumusunod kay Caldi. At naobserbahan pa niya dumating yung mga gabi na hindi na natutulog ang mga kambing sa gabi. So, kinuha po niya yung mga berries na yon at dinala sa monastery. Pero sa monastery, hindi po yun tinanggap agad ng kanilang head. At bilang protesta, tinapon nila yun sa apoy. Hanggang sa, ayun na nga, lumabas ang kakaibang aroma ng kape na nagustuhan ng buong bayan. At doon na nga po nagsimula ang pag-inom ng kape. Ayan. So, ayun po ang ating isa sa mga kilalang alamat ng coffee, ang kwento ni Caldi. Okay, so ngayon po na na-discuss na po natin ang history or pinagsimulan ng kape, which is sa bansang Ethiopia na naturally highlands po iyan. Proceed naman po tayo sa ating next topic, which is basics about coffee.
That's right, coffee. Why? Well, why not? When playing a game or watching something, it's a nice idea to have a drink nearby. Some people enjoy drinking tea, others enjoy drinking coffee, or maybe whiskey and even water, why not? If you're interested in getting into drinking coffee, well, I know the basics, and the basics are quite enough for you to enjoy a nice cup of coffee. So keep watching, and by the end of the video, you know the basics too. There are basically two types of coffee, or two types of coffee plants. One of them is called Arabica, and the other is called Robusta. There are some major differences between the two. The Arabica coffee usually has a better taste, more smooth, when compared to the Robusta. The Robusta has more of that bitter taste that people don't usually like very much. But the Robusta has almost the double caffeine than the Arabica does. So if you're looking for a nice taste, you go for Arabica. If you're looking for caffeine, you go to Robusta. So the Arabica coffee is usually more expensive than the Robusta because the Arabica plant is more delicate, it's more prone to disease than the Robusta. The Robusta plant will survive longer and give coffee the whole year long. When buying your coffee, you can find it on the package if it's Arabica or Robusta. If it doesn't say, you can go by the price. If it's an expensive coffee, it's probably Arabica. And if it's too cheap, it's probably Robusta. Arabica is way more expensive than the Robusta, but they're both quite affordable. If you wanna have both the taste of the Arabica and the caffeine from the Robusta, you can find some coffees out there that are a mix. So there are all kinds of options out there, you just have to look. Regardless of Arabica or Robusta, the coffees have different roasts. They go from light to dark, and maybe very dark you can find. Now the difference between a light and a dark roast is mostly the flavor. The amount of caffeine on a light and on a dark roast is pretty much the same. It has minor variations but doesn't matter much, so don't get a dark coffee expecting more caffeine because it probably won't make much difference. Get whatever roast tastes the better for you. Other than that, you'll find on the packages things like this coffee has hints of nuts, or that coffee has hints of dark chocolate and oranges, or berries, vanilla or whatever. Well, unless you're a fanatic, that doesn't matter much. It's more like a trial and error thing. You try a coffee, if you like it, keep buying it. If you don't, go for another one until you find one or two you really like. It never hurts to have more than one type of coffee around, it's just like tea. Sometimes you're more in the mood for a stronger coffee and sometimes you're more in the mood for a smooth one. Just as important as the coffee is the water. The best idea is to use mineral water or filtered. If you're gonna use a tap water, then remember this. The quality of your coffee will be as good as the quality of your water.
Okay, so ayan po sa video nakita natin, pinakita po dun yung dalawang varieties of coffee which is Robusta and Arabica. Pero actually po, meron tayong 5 varietals of coffee. We have the Robusta, we have Arabica, Excelsa, and Liberica. At lahat po yan ay tumutubo dito sa Pilipinas. Okay, so simulan po natin kay Excelsa. Si Excelsa, ito po ay na-discover Africa pa din, pero 20th century na. Okay, so sabi natin kanina, si Arabica na-discover po yan, 9th century pa lang. So ito, mas later na na-discover. So, pero same pa rin po, Africa pa din siya na-discover. Okay, so ano yung mga characteristic ng Excelsa beans? It is very unique, resilient, productive species po siya. And then, it moves only in very small quantities around the world sa kadahilanan nga po na hanggang sa ngayon, si Excelsa po pinag-aaralan pa yung kanyang tamang cultivation, processing. Pero masasabi ko po na si Excelsa beans, hindi naman siya nagpapahuli dun sa ating mga dominant beans like the Robusta and Arabica. So eventually, makikilala din lalo si Excelsa beans. So sa ngayon po, mga Excelsa beans na ginagamit namin dito sa coffee shop ay pinang-blend po namin yan. So other beans pa. Next, we have Liberica beans. So, si Liberica beans naman po, also known as Liberian coffee dahil nanggaling naman siya kay Liberia. So, ito ay part pa rin po ng Africa, which is sa Central and Western Africa. And alam niyo po ba na itong Liberica beans naman natin, may pangyayari sa Pilipinas na kung saan naging very historical po si Barako beans na kung saan namatay po yung pananim ng Liberica sa ibang parte ng Equatorial Region. Pero nagstay yan dito sa Lipa, Batangas. Dahil sa pangyayaring yan, noong 18th century, pinarangalan ng Reyna ng Espanya ang Lipa bilang Villa de Lipa dahil po sa pangyayaring ito. Okay, so very proud tayo sa Liberica beans, ang kapeng matapang na kaya kang ipaglaban. Okay, now si Arabica beans naman po. Si Arabica is also known as the Arabian coffee or the coffee shrub of Arabia or mountain coffee. Bakit nga ba mountain coffee? So si Arabica po ay tumutubo lamang sa matataas na altitude. Okay, so it requires 3,000 feet above sea level para siya ay tumubo at mamunga. Okay. So, kaya naman dito sa Pilipinas, yung mga Arabica varieties po natin ay pinapangalan yan kung saang mataas na lugar siya tumubo. Like for example, Mount Apo, na kung saan si Mount Apo po, talagang alam naman natin pinakamataas yan na bundok or let me just say volcano no dito sa Pilipinas. So Mount Apo and Sagada, Atok Benguet, Sultan Kudarat, Kalinga Apayao, yan yung mga pinapangalan sa mga Arabica na meron dito sa Pilipinas. Okay, so sabi nga, ito yung pinakamataas ang presyo ng Arabica beans. Okay, it is also believed to be the first species of coffee to be cultivated and it is the most dominant. So, ito yung nagmula sa Ethiopia. Okay, finally, we have the Robusta beans. So, also known as Coffea canephora. So, ito yung kanyang scientific name. So, Robusta naman po, pangalawang most dominant coffee variety next to Arabica. It has the origins pa rin from the Central and Western Sub-Saharan Africa. So, Robusta po pinaniniwalaan yan na may pinakamataas na caffeine content. And from the robust name pa lang, robust, ito po ay productive din yung species na yan. Ngayon, tingnan naman natin si Arabica, si Robusta, at si Liberica in terms naman dun sa kanilang itsura ng pinaka-bean. So, si Arabica po at si Robusta sobrang magkaiba po yan. Si Arabica ay malalaki, elongated, compare kay Robusta na maliliit, bilugan, yung itsura po ng ating Robusta. By the way, si Excelsa, mas malaki ng konti sa mga Robusta beans naman po. Okay, while si Liberica, makikita natin yung mga edges niya, yung mga dulo, patusok po, and then usually medyo payat yung mga Liberica beans. So, ano pa yung mga difference nila? So, pagdating po sa caffeine content, si Arabica ang may pinakamababang caffeine content, which is 1.5% caffeine. And then, almost double niyan si Robusta, which is 2.7%. Hanggang sa, at si Liberica naman po, slightly higher than the Arabica bean. So, sa caffeine content, pinakamataas si Robusta. Sa lasa, si Arabica po at si Robusta sobrang magkaiba din. Si Arabica, nandun yung smooth taste, andun yung citrusy notes, fruity notes, nandyan siya, at sweet din. Slightly sweet talaga ang coffee mo naturally kapag Arabica beans dahil mataas yung sugar content ng Arabica. While si Robusta naman po, nandito naman yung strong coffee, yung body, yung bold taste ng kape. Okay? And then, Liberica, usually, ang Liberica beans po, hindi na dark roast siya, pero nandyan yung mga notes na, sabi nga nila, bitter coffee. So, sabi nga, kaya nasabing siya ay matapang na kape. With hints of floral and spices. So, usually, smoky flavor dahil nga kadalasan, darkly roasted ang ating mga Barako beans. Now that we have discussed about the 4 varietals of coffee beans, proceed naman po tayo sa ating next topic which is coffee processing. So it is also very important na maintindihan natin ano ba yung pinagdadaanan ng kape bago yan maging baso ng kape na ine-enjoy po nating lahat. Panoorin po natin yung ating next.
How many people does it take to make a cup of coffee? For many of us, all it takes is a short walk and a quick pour. But this simple staple is the result of a globe-spanning process whose cost and complexity are far greater than you might imagine. It begins in a place like the remote Colombian town of Pitalito. Here, family farms have clear-cut local forests to make room for neat rows of coffea trees. These shrub-like plants were first domesticated in Ethiopia and are now cultivated throughout equatorial regions. Each shrub is filled with small berries called coffee cherries. Since fruits on the same branch can ripen at different times, they're best picked by hand, but each farm has its own method for processing the fruit. In Pitalito, harvesters toil from dawn to dusk at high altitudes, often picking over 25 kilograms per shift for very low wages. The workers deliver their picked cherries to the wet mill. This machine separates the seeds from the fruit and then sorts them by density. The heaviest, most flavorful seeds sink to the bottom of the mill, where they're collected and taken to ferment in a tub of water for 1 or 2 days. Then, workers wash off the remaining fruit and put the seeds out to dry. Some farms use machines for this process, but in Pitalito, seeds are spread onto large mesh racks. Over the next 3 weeks, workers rake the seeds regularly to ensure they dry evenly. Once the coffee beans are dry, a truck takes them to a nearby mill with several specialized machines. An air blower resorts the seeds by density, an assortment of sieves filter them by size, and an optical scanner sorts by color. At this point, professionals called Q graders select samples of beans to roast and brew. In a process called cupping, they evaluate the coffee's taste, aroma, and mouthfeel to determine its quality. These experts give the beans a grade and get them ready to ship. Workers load burlap sacks containing up to 70 kilograms of dried and sorted coffee beans onto steel shipping containers, each able to carry up to 21 metric tons of coffee. From tropical ports, cargo ships crewed by over 25 people transport coffee around the world, but no country imports more coffee than the United States, with New York City alone consuming millions of cups every day. After the long journey from Colombia to New Jersey, our coffee beans pass through customs. Once dock workers unload the container, a fleet of 18-wheelers transport the coffee to a nearby warehouse and then to a roastery. Here, the beans go into a roasting machine, stirred by a metallic arm and heated by a gas-powered fire. Nearby sensors monitor the coffee's moisture level, chemical stability, and temperature, while trained coffee engineers manually adjust these levels throughout the 12-minute roasting cycle. This process releases oil within the seed, transforming the seeds into grindable, brewable beans with a dark brown color and rich aroma. After roasting, workers pack the beans into 5-pound bags, which a fleet of vans deliver to cafes and stores across the city. The coffee is now so close you can smell it, but it needs more help for the final stretch. Each coffee company has a head buyer who carefully selects beans from all over the world. Logistics teams manage bean delivery routes, and brave baristas across the city serve this caffeinated elixir to scores of hurried customers. All in all, it takes hundreds of people to get coffee to its intended destination, and that's not counting everyone maintaining the infrastructure that makes the journey possible. Many of these individuals work for low pay in dangerous conditions, and some aren't paid at all. So while we might marvel at the global network behind this commodity, let's make sure we don't value the final product more than the people who make it.
Okay, so ayan, nakita po natin dun sa video na pinanood natin kung ano ba, kung gaano katagal or kahaba yung processing ng kape. bago po yan maging baso ng kape natin na talaga namang ini-enjoy natin, napakasarap, okay? At isang dahilan po kung bakit nga ba nagmamahal or mahal ang presyuhan ng coffee beans. So from harvesting pa lang, nakita naman natin talagang handpicking po ang harvesting niyan dahil hindi sabay-sabay nahihinog ang mga coffee beans. Okay, so meron po diyang mga, yung mga green beans, babalikan po ulit yan ng mga harvesters after 3 days to 1 week. Okay, just imagine kung sa bundok to ginagawa, sa Mount Apo, 'di ba? So, paano kung umuulan-ulan pa? So, yung ating mga farmers, barefooted yan, akyat sila ng bundok, and 25 kilos yung maximum ng daladala nila pababa ulit ng bundok, and then babalikan na naman nila yung iba pa. So, one reason kung bakit nga ba nagmamahal or mahal ang presyo ng kape, lalong-lalo na yung mga Arabica beans. Okay, also ang mga Arabica beans po pala, by the way, ay once or twice a year lang yan mamunga. Okay. So, next process po niyan, merong mga wash process na kung saan nilulubog pa sa tap of water. Yun yung sorting nila. Lahat ng mga lumulutang po is i-separate yan doon sa mga nakalubog pa. Dahil yung mga nasa ilalim, mga heaviest beans, sila po yung mas mataas yung quality. And then drying. So, may mga process naman po yung tinatawag na dry process na kung saan after picking, diretso na po yung bilad sa araw. Okay, or doon na siya hahayaang hanggang siya ay ma-ferment at matuyo. Pero syempre, kung katulad po sa atin, mamaya biglang uulan, kukunin na naman ulit yan or lilikumin ulit yan ng mga farmers dahil hindi yan pwedeng mabasa ng ulan. Okay. So, ganun kahaba yung process ng coffee beans. May tinatawag din po tayong decaffeinated coffee or yung mga decaf na kung saan mas mahal ang decaffeinated coffee kaysa sa regular coffee beans. So dito naman po nag-undergo ang coffee beans natin ng process na kung saan tinatanggal or nire-remove ang caffeine content. Pero ito po ay 97 to 98% lamang yung kayang tanggalin ng decaffeination process, not 100% of caffeine. So, yung process na to is para makakuha ng or makapag-provide ng coffee para sa mga taong gusto ng coffee pero iniiwasan nila or for medical reasons, bawal sa kanila ang caffeine. Okay. So, another reason kung bakit po nagko-collect ng caffeine sa coffee, not only in coffee, kung hindi pati din po sa tea, kasi may caffeine din yan, is for the reason na para naman makakuha ng caffeine na inilalagay naman sa mga other caffeinated drinks. Like for example, mga energy drinks like yung Sting, cola products, mga Red Bull, and other drinks pa na nire-require or kailangan ng caffeine. Other than decaffeinated coffee, meron din po tayong flavored coffee. So, maraming available sa market ngayon, yung mga hazelnut flavored, macadamia, chocolate, mocha. So, may flavor na po si coffee beans pa lang. So, dito naman po, ginagawa po ng mga roastery dyan is ini-infuse po yung ating mga beans with flavor such as spices, alcohol syrups. So, doon siya ini-infuse para magkaroon naman ng flavor ang ating mga beans. Pwedeng during roasting or right after roasting. So, doon po siya ini-infuse ng flavor. So, available siya as flavored coffee beans. Pero, alam nyo ba na for the specialty coffee, from plants pa lang, may ginagawa na pong intervention ang mga farmers, especially now na na-introduce ang coffee science sa ating mga farmers na kung saan from farming pa lang, ginagawa na nila yung way na yon para magkaroon na ng natural flavor or hints of flavor ang mga coffee beans. So, paano po ginagawa yon? For example, si farmer po gusto niyang makuhang hint sa kanyang mga beans ay may lasa or aroma ng chocolates o kaya naman mga mangosteen flavor, nutty flavor, magtatanim po siya ng mga puno ng mga cacao plants or mga fruit-bearing trees malapit or sa paligid ng mga coffee plants. Dahil naturally, ang mga coffee po, nakaka-absorb yan ng flavor. Okay, na-absorb po niya yung flavor ng mga nakatanim sa paligid niya. So, ayun na, hanggang sa maging, kapag na-roast na po yung beans, doon lumalabas yung mga flavor na yon. Okay. So, napag-usapan po natin yung decaffeinated coffee and flavored coffee. Proceed naman tayo ngayon sa coffee storage. So, ang coffee beans po, unang-unang kalaban yan ay direct sunlight, moisture, oxygen, ayaw din po niyan, and changes in temperature. So, very important na ang ating coffee ay nakastore in cool, dry place. Keep it away from direct sunlight. Do not refrigerate. And then, kasi syempre, pag ni-refrigerate po natin yan, paglabas natin sa ref, magmo-moist po yan. Okay? And then, always store your coffee in tightly closed jars. And then, how about shelf life? So, for coffee, kung yan po ay green beans or whole beans pa lang na coffee, unopened, sa pantry po, iyan ay magtatagal ng 1 year, maximum po yung 2 years. Okay? And then, pag once na roasted na po ang ating coffee beans, 8 to 12 months na lang po yan after roasting sa pantry. Okay? Pero, once na nabuksan na po ang coffee pack, okay, yan po ay 1 month na lang sa pantry. So, nililabelan po natin ng tama yung ating mga beans na kung saan once na binuksan na po siya, kailangan nating palitan or i-shorten ang shelf life ng ating coffee beans. Okay. So, isang advice lang din po na once na kaka-roast pa lang po ng beans natin, hindi pa po yon ready for brewing agad-agad. So, as per the coffee science, kailangan po ang kape once after roasting, palipasin mo muna yan at least 1 week hanggang 13 days. Yung 13 days yung pinaka-safe dyan na kung saan beyond 13 days, pwede mo nang i-brew yung freshly roasted coffee beans. Ano yung reason? So, syempre yung beans po, after roasting, nandiyan pa yung madami siyang oil, moisture, hindi pa stable yung lasa niya. Okay. So, also, according sa coffee science, pinaka-hinog or pinaka-masarap or pinaka-lumalabas ang lasa or flavor or hints ng flavor na makukuha mo sa coffee beans, 18 days po after roasting. Yan. Proceed naman tayo sa ating next topic, which is the different types of grinds for the coffee beans. So, alamin natin ano ba yung importance ng paggamit ng iba't ibang klase ng grind size for our coffee beans. Depende sa gagamitin mo or gagawin mong brewing method. Panoorin po natin yung ating video na to. So, dun po sa video na napanood natin, pinakita ang importance ng paggamit ng iba't ibang grind size. Okay, but before that, na-discuss din po doon kung ano yung difference nga ba ng light roasted beans sa dark roasted beans. So, light roast, nandito po yung mataas na acidity level ng coffee. Andito rin yung high caffeine content. Sa gitna, yung medium roast. Ito po, nandito naman yung tinatawag natin na balance. Okay, moderate in flavor. Crisp ang flavor dyan. And then, nandyan pa yung sweet notes. And then, dark roast, nandito na po yung tinatawag natin na less caffeine content and less acidity level din. But for the flavor, nandito naman yung stronger na flavor ng kape kapag dark roasted siya. Okay, so also, nakita natin dito kung ano-ano ba yung iba't ibang grind size ng coffee beans. We have the coarse grind, coarse, medium fine, and then extra fine. So, napaka-importante po ng grind size sa ating nagagamitin sa ating brewing method. So, ano ba yung importance na ito? So, pwedeng maging over-extracted or under-extracted ang ating brewed coffee. So, for example, gamitin natin example dito yung ating espresso machine. For the espresso machine, pinakita po sa video, kailangan natin doon ng fine grind. What if gumamit po kayo ng coarse grind instead na fine grind? So, dahil po mas malalaki yung grind ng coarse, mabilis na makakalusot sa kanya yung tubig. So, mas madami yung yield ng espresso na makukuha mo. And also, under-extracted siya or ibig sabihin natin, hindi mo na-extract ng mabuti yung ating coffee. Okay? While kung gagamit ka naman ng extra fine, hindi ka gumamit pa rin ng fine, no? Sinobrahan mo pa rin yung pagka-grind, naging fine grind. So, extra fine grind na siya. Ang mangyari naman po, over-extracted or yung ating pong tubig, mahirapan naman siyang lumusot sa ating coffee grinds. So, ibig sabihin, mas konti yung yield ng coffee or espresso na makuha mo and also, mas matapang yung lasa niya. Dahil nga, nag-penetrate mabuti yung water dun sa ating extra finely grind coffee beans. So make sure na every time na tayo po ay magbubrew ng coffee, tamang grind size ang gamitin natin. Okay. Yan. So makikita po natin dito sa ating video na to. Kapag ikaw ay gumamit po ng 7 grams coffee grinds, you can yield 1 shot espresso or 30 ml po yung may yield po niyan. While yung 15 grams coffee grinds naman, you can already yield 2 shots of espresso or 60 ml espresso shots. Okay, so ito po ay international na measurement. You can always modify, depende po sa tapang or depende kung gusto mo mas less, no, yung tapang ng kape. So you can always play with the measurement or do an experiment. So for example po, ako ang personal preference ko for my espresso is 17.5 grams coffee grains. So doon ko na-achieve yung tamang lasa ng coffee grinds na patok sa panlasa ko. Okay, now about the right temperature naman po ng water to touch the coffee grinds. Ang tamang temperature naman po na gamitin natin is 90 to 96 degrees Celsius. Okay. So, ganun po yung temperature, not boiling boiling water ang kinokontak natin with the coffee grind. So, very important na tamang temperature ng tubig ang gamitin. For your espresso machine, no need to measure the temperature dahil po nakaset na po yung temperature dyan, especially kung yan ay automatic or semi-automatic espresso machine. Also, for the household use na drip machine coffee maker. So, nakaset din po yun. So, napaka-importante na gumamit tayo ng mineral water, not faucet water. Okay? Dahil pwede po yung mag-deposit ng sediments dun sa ating machine. Pwedeng makasira. Okay, also, hindi tayo inom ng hindi pinakulong water, di ba? Also for the coffee, nakaka-affect din po siya sa lasa. Okay, so tandaan po natin yan. And now, for the milk temperature naman, especially kung gagawa ng coffee, cappuccino, latte, ang temperature naman po ng milk natin, if ever nagagamit kayo ng ininit na, or in-steam nyo na sarili na milk, it has to be 60 to 65 degrees Celsius. Okay, so hindi rin siya magmo-more than 65 dahil pwedeng magkaroon ng lasang sunog po yung ating milk. So, nakikita natin yung mga picture po, meron po yung mga thermogauge or kaya naman yung mga barista, humahawak po sila dun sa ilalim ng picture para pakaramdaman yung temperature ng milk. So, yung kamay po natin, ang kaya po nating i-tolerate dito ay 75 degrees Celsius lang. Beyond that, nakakapaso na po yan. Okay. Okay, so now na na-discuss po natin or na-introduce tayo sa espresso shot, alamin naman natin ngayon ano-ano ba yung iba't ibang klase ng espresso-based drinks. Ito yung mga hot coffee drinks na talagang namang kilalang-kilala po yan sa Italy. So, I'll be showing you another video na para mas maintindihan naman po natin yung iba't iba nating coffee drinks. So, let's all watch this.
Have you ever been in a coffee shop and felt confused seeing the variety of coffee? Well, I'm here to help you out. In this video, we will talk about some of the famous coffees sold around the world. All coffee discussed in this video uses the base of espresso. Espresso is also popular as a coffee drink in European countries, especially in Italy. In fact, espresso is actually a method of preparing coffee of Italian origin, in which small amount of nearly boiling water is forced under pressure to finely ground coffee beans, or you can use coffee powder. According to American or Italian recipe for espresso, nearly 25 to 30 ml of boiling water is passed through 7 grams of ground coffee beans for getting a single shot of espresso. Due to its high concentration or high level of caffeine per unit and thick foam, it is used as a base for making other coffee. One can also ask to add more espresso shots to make their coffee strong. Remember that we are going to use espresso shot as a base for all coffee discussed in this video. If we add large amount of hot water in one shot of espresso, the coffee that we have is Americano. The term Americano coffee comes from World War II when American soldiers add water to their coffee to extend their rations, and the same habit they were accustomed to back home. The large quantity of water weakens the espresso concentration and make it more sippable. Like in Americano, instead of hot water, if we fill the cup with steamed milk over a single shot of espresso, then it becomes flat white coffee. Some coffee house also add small amount of milk foam on the top. Next coffee is macchiato. If we top a single shot of espresso with small amount of foamed milk, then it becomes macchiato coffee. Some coffee house also serve large macchiato, which is just double espresso shot with milk foam on the top. The top milk foam gives a bit of sweeter taste. Before going ahead, let's revise this quickly. If we take a single shot of espresso in a cup and fill it with hot water, then it becomes Americano. And if the same cup of espresso is filled with steamed milk, it becomes flat white. And if we just top the same cup with foamed milk, it becomes macchiato. Next is cappuccino. A cappuccino usually contains equal parts of espresso, steamed milk, and foamed milk. For example, take 1 shot of espresso, pour over 30 ml steamed milk, and equal amount of foamed milk. The coffee that we get is cappuccino. Next coffee is latte. Same as cappuccino, we add espresso, steamed milk, foamed milk, but unlike cappuccino, instead of taking in equal ratio, we increase the amount of milk, as the word latte suggests, which means milk coffee. For example, In America or Italy, in one shot of espresso, we add 4 to 6 ounces of steamed milk and finish off with milk foam. Many people drink it as introductory coffee drink as more milk cut the acidity and bitterness of coffee. Next is mocha or mochaccino coffee. It is a hot hybrid chocolate coffee of cappuccino. To prepare mocha, take 1 shot of espresso, add 1 to 2 ounces of chocolate syrup or powder, then add 1 to 3 ounces of steamed milk and top with milk foam. Some coffee houses also use whipped cream instead of milk foam. Affogato. Pouring a shot of espresso over a scoop or two of vanilla ice cream produce affogato coffee, also refers as desert coffee. Some coffee house also uses other variety of ice cream instead of vanilla. Now let's take a quick look at last 4 coffee types. In cappuccino, we add equal amount of espresso, steamed milk and milk foam. If we increase the amount of milk, it becomes latte, and adding another layer of chocolate syrup produces mocha. Simply pouring an espresso shot over an ice cream scoop gives affogato coffee. These are the commonly served coffees in a coffee house around the world. I hope now you are able to differentiate between these. But do not guys, the types of coffee are all relative, lacking an exact measurement or guideline. Still, I am providing you some measurements usually followed around. You can expect variations on each drink from different cafes based on barista's preference. Also note that some coffee houses use whipped cream instead of milk foam. So, now I have a question for you. Who is barista? Comment down below. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like the video and also subscribe Hospitality Broadcast.
Alright, so dun sa ating pinakitang video po, nakita natin yung iba't ibang klase ng coffee, espresso-based drinks. Okay, so we have the Americano na kung saan add po ng hot water sa espresso shot, meron ka ng black coffee or Americano. And then latte, cappuccino, and flat white, ito po ay may steam milk na kung saan nagkaiba-iba sila sa dami. So, pinakamatapang doon si cappuccino since mas konti yung inad mo doon ng steam milk, puro froth milk. By the way, yung milk foam, ang purpose po nun is para makontain yung init ng coffee, hindi agad lumamig. While yung mocha, yan, may nilagay na po dyan na chocolate. Pwedeng yung chocolate ay powder, pwedeng syrup na hinalo muna po yan sa ating espresso bago lagyan ng steam milk. Alright.